Happy Monday, fabulous people. Let's go ahead and get started. Eric, you want to take us away with backend?
Yeah, sure. Hey, everyone. So last week we released Synapse 1.98. Talked a bit about that last time. This will be the last release of the year, given upcoming holidays, but we'll be back next year. Otherwise, hopefully everyone is now aware, as per previous announcement, the Matrix.org Foundation is not able to resource the maintenance of Synapse, and it continues to be developed by Element as a fork. Do please go and read the various blog posts about this and the rationales. So the big thing to be aware of is that the Element repository is at element-hq/synapse, and the Matrix.org repository has been archived to be a read-only. There are other home server implementations available, which you can see at the link there. But do please bear with us with this transition. We're hoping we haven't broken anything. I'm aware that we did break Docker images for a bit there. That was not intentional at all, and we apologize for that. They should hopefully now be fixed. If you do see anything that is broken, please do have or create a new issue in the new repo, and we'll try and fix that for you. We are trying to make this not too disruptive or as little disruption as possible, but there are some rough edges. We are going to continue updating the Docker, Debian, and PyPy repositories so that hopefully no one needs to update their links right now. And so, yeah, I don't know whether Josh or Matthew wants to speak any further about that.
Yeah, thank you, Eric. I'll briefly say that the foundation, I've been weighing in on the foundation's behalf on the logistics of the fork, lots of little details, and a lot of trade-offs where there really are no perfect options. The guiding principle along the way has been to minimize breakage and ensure that people aren't left with a code base that's increasingly insecure as it's not getting new patches. So one of the things that we got a little feedback on last week was the method of forking. Some people were wondering about the issues and PRs that were left on the repo under the Matrix.org namespace. So the foundation didn't want to transfer those. It just didn't feel appropriate for the foundation to be transferring out any of its repositories to any company, even if it was Element. So we decided against doing that, and I really appreciate the Elements teams, coordinating and taking the foundation's input. So challenging process, but really grateful to everybody for being such good partners along the way. And that's all. Yes, Eric.
Yeah, that's been our life for the last week.
Okay, thank you, sir. Moving on to account portability and Dendrite with Devin.
Hey, yes, last week we released a new version of Dendrite. This is mostly just fixes, kind of pseudo important fixes with canonical JSON stuff, some other core stuff to do with event handling, which has unblocked a number of rooms known to cause Dendrite to fail checking signatures, especially from matrix.org. So that should be helpful to people who've been experiencing those issues. And now application login support is also in Dendrite. So that should also be pleasant news for people. And then work on crypto IDs was progressed last week, and the prototype for that is looking in a kind of good enough shape for that. So in this week, I'll be working on capturing all the crypto ID portable identities work into a nice little package of everything that's in there, since it's kind of spread out right now with I think the crypto IDs prototype touched like 6 different repos. So kind of gathering that up so it's all kind of contained in one place. And then possibly another Dendrite release. We've been looking at some NAT stuff around the event queuing, and we might have a fix for events that kind of infinitely get backlogged and reprocessed in Dendrite. So look out for that.
Awesome. Thank you, Devin. Moving on, who is on point for spec today?
Hello, it's me. So in terms of spec, it's been a little quiet, I believe, as the holidays are coming over, both on the spec side as well as the Mimi side. We did get a new MSC this week that came from Matthew. kind of interesting layering media on top of itself with binary deltas. Came out of the third room work. We also had a couple MSCs cleaned up by Travis, just due to them either being closed in favor of newer ones or not being compatible with newer ones. Otherwise, I've seen a bit of traffic going past in my inbox, relations recursion MSC as well, but I think for the most part, holidays are taking everyone's time. So yeah, and it will probably continue to do so for the next week or two. That's about it from Specland.
Thank you, Anoa. Anything from VoIP today? It looks like not. All right, we will move on to Element Web and Desktop with Florian.
Yes, thank you. Our news is similar than the ones of the previous week. We are still migrating our end-to-end tests from Cypress supervised. Normally, we should be see the end this week, I think. On the unread and stock notification, we are still fixing some bugs, and we also start to work on improving our UI on UX around file management. And that's all for us.
Thank you, Florian. Next up, Element and Element X Android with Benoit.
Yes, good morning. So we will prepare a release candidate of Element X Android on next Thursday. It will include the new Power History screen and also lots of polishing in the app. In particular, we fix some issues on the linkification. So it's when you type a link as a message, there were an issue when the link was not clickable, if there were not other formatting in the message, so just for regular text. So it's fixed, and it's also now possible to open the room avatar in full screen if you want to see the details in the avatar. And yeah, and other bug fixes, I've not listed them all. And also worth noting that there are some fixes which is in the rich text editor library regarding mail chains, and also an issue on the keyboard completion. So when you type and you use the suggested words from the keyboard, there were some missing on some Android OS versions. So it's now all fixed. Yeah, that's pretty all for Android. Thank you.
Thank you, Benoit. Next up, Element and Element X iOS with Maro.
Hello, everyone. So yeah, also Element X iOS, of course, has an RC planned for Thursday, and also Element X iOS has recently just completed the work for Pulse History and has recently been merged. So yeah, can't wait to see that finally in the final app. And we actually also introduced new dead code analysis tool, which is called Periphery, which essentially allowed us to pretty much understand how many lines of dead code we had in the current code base. And we already have removed about 1,000 of them, and many more are going to get deleted soon. So yeah, we're pretty much cleaning up the project a bit thanks to this tool. Then we did some small fixes, UI and UX improvements, and in particular, we improved and fixed a lot of our UI tests in particular. So yeah, and that's pretty much it.
Thank you very much. Moving on to Rust SDK with Manu.
Hello. First, big thanks to Kevin, who is continuing contributing to the Rust SDK. So he gave a refresh on the notification settings and offered the possibility to add notifications on keywords. Another thanks to Valère on the encryption team who made a lot of QA on the key backup support in Element X, which is backed by the SDK. So he fixed plenty of things. And yeah, basically we are on track to release it on Thursday with all the features we wanted. Yeah, so some technical things about generating bindings for Kotlin and Swift code. We are continuing to use the latest things from UniFFI. Benji is working on read receipts and unread count so that we will be able to display correctly the unread rooms from the room list in ElementX or any client that use the Metrics SDK. And yeah, basically this week will be the same, closing all the things until the end of this year.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have Andy with encryption.
Hello. The encryption team this week has mostly been working on Element Web R, which is a project to swap out the encryption code from Element Web that was previously based on libOlm, the C library, to move it over to be based on the same crypto library Vidautomats as ElementX. So that's an ongoing thing that we've been doing for a long time. This week we've been working on migrating users over from legacy crypto to the new crypto. At the moment, if you do a new login on develop.element.io, you can try out the Rust crypto. But if you were already on the legacy crypto, you haven't been moved. So this migration project is about figuring out how to move people across without losing all their stuff. We've also been working on bug fixes, including we had a bug where saving your key backup status caused your whole browser to lock up, or at least your tab. It looks like the fix for that has made it worse in other ways, so we're currently investigating that, but we're working on it. And possibly related to that, we're investigating some reports of it being slow to send messages in WebR. And also in the land of ElementX, we've been fixing problems with uploading backups. That's it from us.
Thank you very much. Do we have anything from Bridges or Identity and Authentication? I don't think so. Okay, next up, Tib, Advocacy. Hello. Thank you, Tib. All right, on foundation things, I will not give voice to all of these things because I've written quite a lot. One thing, very excited last week as I was getting access to more of the foundation's financial accounts, found more cryptocurrency hidden between the cushions. So continuing what I do with that is I liquidate it and turn it into real currency. No offense to people who love cryptocurrency. It's not a good asset for the foundation to be sitting on. Of note, the foundation is no longer advertising that it accepts cryptocurrency, but it does because we're not in a position to be choosy about that. But it's definitely not our preference. We want to move away from that. Very pleased last week we got the governing board revisions approved and an elections timeline is set. The blog post that I've mentioned probably for a few weeks running now is actually going to land tomorrow, so I'm excited about that. If anybody has any questions about that, do let me know. I am hoping that some of the people here or people listening will be interested in standing for election next year. So more about that later. A lot of support for the event organizers last week, weighing in on logistics around the fork. This week, so again, tomorrow that governing board blog post is going to go live. The idea is to talk about what it is, talk about what's coming in terms of the election and the timeline, but then also prepare people for what it means to get involved with that. And I'm very excited to say that we will begin accepting applications for the 2 new types of members that have been approved by the Guardians. Again, those 2 new types of members are ecosystem members. So those are open source projects that speak Matrix. And then for associate members, which would be other open source foundations and the like. So excited to be getting that going and preparing us for that. I'll be spending a lot of time working on marketing materials and cleaning up loose ends this week, hoping that being a mostly pretty quiet week can get some heads down work done. So just a few points of interest. Heads up, if you, I'm migrating to a self-hosted home server. So if there are any blips in our communications, that might be why. I've listed my backup account at joshsimmonsmatrix.org in case I screw something up, because I just might. Next week, I'll be out of the office starting Wednesday. No, excuse me, I'll be out of the office starting the beginning of next week and back on Wednesday, January 3rd. I'll still be minding the shop, but I will not be paying close attention. Just a little bit of perspective. I know I only joined and stepped into this role secretly back in August and publicly back in September, so I'm still pretty new here. But I just want to say that I recognize it's been a challenging year for a lot of people in the Matrix ecosystem. And as I have been working with the team to reflect on what we've been accomplishing and to start getting people prepared for next year, I think you all have a lot to be proud of in terms of what was accomplished. The folks in this room, people who are listening, and elsewhere in the ecosystem. So thank you for your work, and here's to better and brighter futures for all of us. Lots to look forward to with the Matrix ecosystem next year. Logistical note, I'll be updating the Matrix Sync calendar invites. Naturally, we are not meeting on Christmas, and we are not meeting on January 1st. We are not cruel like that. And I hope you all have fabulous holidays. Looking forward to a change, an experimental change in the format of this, where we do mostly written updates and focus on maybe a single topic to give voice to. If anybody wants to, if anybody's excited to maybe give that a try, we're looking for our first volunteer to give a presentation, 5-10 minutes in Q&A, followed by Q&A. That would be on January 22nd. So you got time. But if anybody's interested in wanting to give that a try, reach out to Tib or myself. Otherwise, we'll see you in this meeting on January 8th. Will be the last one in this format. And in closing, yeah, I hope everybody has a wonderful solstice, a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and I'll see you next year. Take care, y'all.